When it comes to John Mayer's overdrive pedals, one concept I've never really talked about on the channel is when John uses multiple tube screamers to get his lead tone. Quite often we're discussing, the tube screamer into the clon centaur into the tube screamer, things like that to get his lead tone, but we don't really talk about when John uses multiple tube screamers in order to actually get his lead tone. It's something he hasn't done that often, but it's a pretty cool concept nonetheless of actually gain stacking tube screamers for John to get his lead tone. So that's going to be the concept we are discussing in today's video, and I have a few different live examples of John actually doing this and some more theories as well into different pedal board versions he's had over the years that also allow this concept to have been done, but I don't necessarily think John's been doing it. So we're going to dive right on into our very first example here, and it's Gravity on Letterman on March 1st of 2007. This is a pretty important performance in general because it's the earliest we can pinpoint John actually using the Ibanez TS10 live. And on this pedal board, John actually has the TS808 and the TS10, so you're kind of seeing the one time that I can point out that John's ever had both kind of versions of the tube screamer he's really used over the course of his career on a board at the same time. So for the outro solo, what'll happen is as John's about to launch into it, he steps on the TS10. That brings his guitar level up as he's still singing, getting ready to launch into the outro solo, and then he will step on the TS808 to then get his lead tone. So let's take a bit of a listen to that one.
Oh, now how can that be? Just give me where the light is. Just keep me where the light is. Just keep me where the light is. Just keep me where the light is.
Our next example is from the John Mayer Trio performance at the Apollo Theater in 2016. On this specific pedal board, John had two TS10s on it rather than the TS808 being the other tube screamer like we saw for that other performance of Gravity in 2007. Now, for this performance of Gravity is going to be the one we're looking at again. John, as you're going to see here, he's going to launch into the very first solo and he's going to turn the TS10 on, the one TS10 on, but then he's actually going to leave it on, and as he comes back to singing the vocals, the TS10 has not been turned off, as you're going to see.
My knees.
So at this point, the left TS10 or the second TS10 is still on, and John is about to launch into the outro solo, and then he steps on the TS10 that's to his kind of more right side, the very first one in the chain, and then we have the outro solo tone. So let's take a listen to this one, this time 2 TS10s stacked together.
Come on, keep me with, keep me with.
Now, as far as examples of John using 2 Tubescreamers for his lead tone, this is basically it. There aren't any other just straight on examples I've been able to find of where he's used both of them, because in kind of the more modern Mayer tone era, John's current pedal boards for the past couple of years have been with a tube screamer, the Klon Centaur, and then another tube screamer. During the Sob Rock era, this was the first time we actually ever saw this concept when John had TS10 Klon Centaur into TSV 808. Now, during the Sob Rock tour, did John use the TS10 into the TSV? It's completely possible. I've never seen any footage of it, and I have some theories as to when John actually used the TSV, but nothing concrete. Now, when we think of the John Mayer solo tour, the John Mayer trio performances as well, all in 2023, this concept would return, but instead be TS10, Klon Centaur, and then TS10. So again, John had options and could have totally gain stacked 2 Tubescreamers together since he has both of them on his board now. But the more often combination that we saw at this point was that he would stack all 3 together, being TS10, Klon, TS10 for his outro tone. So I don't think there was really much just gain stacking of the 2 Tubescreamers together. I thought I had reassembled upon some footage of John using the 2 Tubescreamers for a different performance when he just had kind of this basic pedal board set up with the Klon in the middle of them, but it ended up not being the case because it just was hard enough to try and tell, but I was able to figure out, okay, no, that wasn't actually what he was doing. So I thought I might have had another example, but I actually don't. But I'm sure this concept of gain stacking 2 screamers is going to be something John does in the future, because I think the whole kind of overdrive setup of the TS10, Klon Centaur, and TS10 is something we are going to see John continuing to use in future tours and on like the next big pedal board that he has. Kind of seems to be where he's landed, because now he can also do the tube screamer into Klon or Klon into tube screamer order and not have to switch them on his board like we've seen him do during previous tours, where one leg it would be TS10 into Klon, next leg it would be Klon into tube screamer. So now he can just do both of them and do whatever he wants. So while this isn't something John has done a whole lot, I thought it'd be really cool nonetheless to take a look at some examples of him doing that and some great tones. And it's just something for you to even try if you're trying to do like a John Mayer tone or something like that. Consider stacking tube screamers together, because it's something John has done and he sounds really great. And with the whole kind of combination with the Klon in the middle, that's kind of the modern day John Mayer overdrive tone. And one of the next videos I am going to be doing is all of the examples that we have of John doing tube screamer into Klon Centaur into tube screamer. So that'll be another fun video. And until then, you guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.